Hi. Skyrim Anniversary Edition came out a while ago, and ever since then I've been waiting to get a burst of motivation to play the game again. After a year of having no time for YouTube, I finally returned to the world of The Elder Scrolls V, and I'm pretty excited to pick up from where we left off, so let's get straight into it. I stepped forth into the Cool Kid Club and was greeted by the oldest and wisest of the men in bathrobes. I was instructed to give them a taste of my voice. I followed through and they told me to eat a mint before continuing with introductions.
I am Master Errand. I speak for the Greybeards.
I did some light reading, and then Papa Angie told me I was special. I absorbed some kind of power from Ernie, and then used said power to mop the floor with some translucent blue muck. To further my training, Annie told me to follow Bert outside and touch some grass. After even more reading, I absorbed some energy from Bert, and then, following a tutorial on how to jog, I proceeded to take a lovely stroll through the pointless gate, whilst shoulder-checking Willie into next week. Upon returning to Pappy Angie, he told me that he and the boys had lost their trumpet some time ago, but they were unable to get it themselves because their knees didn't work like they used to. Being the A+ student that I am, I accepted his quest to find the Vuvuzela of Yogurt Windcaller, and went on my merry way to Oostengrav. After a good 10 minutes of not much, I arrived at the tomb and mentally prepared to fight a magic user on legendary difficulty. The bandits, while not bad on their own, were annoying to fight in numbers, and despite my pitiful attempts at restoration magic spells, I fell to them and their sparkly-fingered companion, again, and again, and again. As Albert Einstein once said, if at first you do not succeed, run like a little bitch, and leave your problems for the future you to deal with. Upon entering the Nordic ruin, I found even more mages. Realizing that the flaw in my previous plan of hit them with a mace until their health bar disappears didn't seem to work, I tried the new and never seen before approach of crouch and use a bow. The sneak archer method actually worked out decently well, until I was reminded of just how not sneaky orcs are, and I resorted to the flavor of violence I knew best, using a pointy baby rattle. After Lydia surgically removed the spine of the final mage, we pushed deeper into the barrow and witnessed a conjurer attempting to perfect her Draugr souffle recipe. After emulsifying her bones, I slapped a Draugr out of this mortal plane and finished off the rest of the undead reinforcements with the help of my companion. I played with my favorite ladle, looted some mediocre treasure, and after getting lost for longer than I'd care to admit, I found my way into the next room of the dungeon and continued to battle old men. At one point, a Draugr defied physics and retreated up a vertical surface, and I felt fears I'd never experienced before as I realized I was fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi with the high ground advantage. He must have realized the gravity of his advantage and felt bad, because he clambered down to my level and accepted his fate after one final game of tag. Lydia and I pushed on, and entered into a much more open portion of the barrow, where it looked as if an old kingdom had once thrived. I got all nice and toasty, and then got saved by Lydia in a close call with the sentient bone sack. After a brave encounter with a magic-wielding restless Draugr, I leveled up and put some points into Magicka and Enchanting for future endeavors. I pulled a room temperature IQ move and did exactly what the game was begging me to do, by shooting the hanging lantern above an oil spill and obliterating everyone standing beneath it. I pulled some sticks and unlocked a small treasure room, which I looted and used to enchant my mace with absorbed stamina, allowing me to use more power attacks in combat later on. After Baby's first enchanting lesson was over, I moved on to the open cavern, and was introduced to the most frail enemy in the game, the skeleton. It was at this point where I realized how much of a noodle I am on legendary difficulty, as I barely came out of a fight with 3 skeletons victorious. After somehow failing the world's easiest puzzle, I made it through the gates on my second attempt, and made my way into hell. There was fire, and spiders, and everything was sticky. I got torched by a weird rug, and only then did it occur to me that I hadn't made a save for the past hour. The next part is mostly nothing new, so I'm gonna speed run through what happened. I hallucinated at an old brick wall. I checked behind the waterfall, like any good gamer would. I said goodbye to a friend, like a true Nord. And I went back to the spider's lair for round 2. After watching Lydia split a frostbite spider's head like a log, I cut my way through numerous sticky blockades and strolled down the red carpet to claim the trombone of Jurgen Tornado Master. When I got to the strangely inhuman hand holding up what was supposed to be the tuba, I realized I'd been played, and I picked up a note telling me that maybe the real horn was the friends I'd made along the way. I grabbed my well-earned loot and made my way out of the dungeon, only to realize that the bandits and necromancer I'd blissfully forgotten about earlier had very much not forgotten about me. I cannot stress enough how much of a pain in the ass these guys were. I died at least 4 times. And in the end, with a mix of berserker rage and 30 minutes of persistence, I slaughtered the mud crab, which was the true boss, and her minions. I returned to Riverwood to find the Horn Napper, and was promptly greeted by some cultists with the funniest, dopiest masks I have ever seen in my life.
No.
They tried to accuse me of being a fraud, but I was too busy laughing at their armor to care about their words. While words may never hurt me, sticks, stones, and fire magic absolutely will, and I got incinerated on my first attempt at dealing with the cultists. I was sure to keep my distance the second time, and managed to crush them, both with some assistance from Lydia and the Riverwood garrison. I did some business with the Golden Boy, then questioned my brother Derek about how his new job was going. Then I met with Dolphin, and asked why she pulled a pro gamer move on me by taking the trumpet.
I hope they're right.
She responded by telling me that she thought I was the Dragonborn, but couldn't believe me until I unalived a dragon before her eyes. I headed towards the door to Riverwood, and then realized that this door would be a perfect opportunity to end the video on a cliffhanger. And so I did.